What really happened behind the scenes of Rowoon and Park Eun-bin's shocking marriage news? After months of whispers and endless speculation, Rowoon finally breaks his silence and proves that their age gap is no obstacle to love. Join Red Carpet Revealed as we dive into the truth and uncover every detail you've been waiting for. The entertainment world thrives on speculation, mystery, and revelations that sweep fans into a frenzy. Few stories in recent years have captured the imagination of audiences across Asia and beyond as powerfully as the whispers, rumors, and eventual revelations surrounding Rowoon and Park Eun-bin. When the news finally broke that Rowoon had addressed his marriage to Park Eun-bin, setting aside months of hushed conversations and half-truths, shockwave rippled through both the entertainment industry and the legions of fans who had followed their careers with devotion. The age gap between them had long been the focal point of gossip and divided opinions. But with his calm yet heartfelt words, Rowoon dismantled the doubts and gave love the final word. This is not merely a story about two stars. It's about truth breaking through noise, about courage in the face of relentless scrutiny, and about how love, when genuine, can defy cultural expectations and thrive. The first seeds of this story were sown long before any official announcement. Both Rowoon and Park Eun-bin were celebrated individuals in their own right, known for talent, dedication, and an almost magnetic screen presence. Rowoon, who began his career as a member of the K-pop group SF9 before transitioning to acting, quickly carved a space for himself as one of the brightest rising actors in the Korean drama industry. With his tall-frame, presence, and sensitive portrayals, he became the embodiment of the new wave of Hallyu stars, multi-talented, versatile, and adored internationally. Park Eun-bin, by contrast, already spent decades in the industry by the time Rowoon began his rise. From child actress to critically acclaimed leading lady, her trajectory was marked not just by longevity but by a rare consistency in delivering performances that resonated with audiences. Their paths crossed publicly when they starred together in The King's Affection, a drama that not only earned global recognition but also cemented their on-screen chemistry as something remarkable. Fans marveled at the way their characters' relationship unfolded with sincerity and passion, and the behind-the-scenes interactions fed endless discussions online. Every smile exchanged, every moment of laughter, every lingering glance became evidence for fans who speculated that there was more than just acting at play. What began as playful shipping soon evolved into persistent rumors, with the blogs, forums, and entertainment portals buzzing with theories about whether Rowoon and Park Eun-bin were more than co-stars. Yet for a long time, both remained silent. Eun-bin, known for her professionalism and poise, often deflected personal questions, emphasizing her focus on her craft. Rowoon, navigating his transition from idol to actor, learned quickly that silence was often safer than fueling speculation. But silence breeds curiosity, and curiosity breeds rumor. The chatter only intensified, particularly when fans noted the age gap between them. In an industry where idols are often scrutinized for the smallest details of their personal lives, the narrative of age gap love became a point of fascination, debate, and even controversy. Critics argued, fans defended, and the media fed the flames. The age gap, Rowoon in his late 20s, Eun-bin several years older, was dissected in countless comment sections. Some saw it as irrelevant in the face of their undeniable chemistry, while others treated it as a scandalous deviation from expectation. In truth, South Korea's entertainment industry has long wrestled with the cultural implications of celebrity romances, particularly those that deviate from traditional norms. For Rowoon and Eun-bin, the numbers never defined the connection they shared. Still, the public remained hungry for answers. Breaking point came when Rowoon, after months of avoiding the subject, finally addressed the speculation head-on. His words, delivered not with defensiveness but with quiet strength, carried the weight of sincerity. "Yes," he said in a carefully arranged interview, "Park Eun-bin and I chose each other. I know people have many opinions about the age difference, but for us, it was never a barrier. We understand one another. We support one another. And love has no calculation when it is real." The statement was like striking a match in a room filled with fuel. Social media exploded within minutes. Hashtags surged to the top of trending lists worldwide. Fan communities lit up with both disbelief and elation. Some expressed shock that the rumors had been true all along, while others wept tears of joy, calling it the ultimate fairy tale. The clarity and honesty in Rowoon's words became the focal point of discussion, particularly his calm assertion that the age gap was a non-issue. In an industry where secrecy often reigns, his transparency was refreshing and bold. Park Eun-bin, for her part, echoed his sentiments in her own way. Known for her thoughtfulness, she released a statement that radiated maturity and grace. What matters in love is respect, kindness, and trust. Rowoon has given me all three. I am grateful to walk this path with him. I ask for the same respect from those who have supported us as actors, and now as partners in life. Her words struck a chord, silencing many critics and amplifying the voices of those who celebrated them. Behind these carefully chosen words lay a story of perseverance. Both Rowoon and Eun-bin had endured months of scrutiny, balancing the pressures of careers with the challenges of navigating a private relationship in a very public arena. The courage it took to finally confront the speculation was not lost on fans. To them, this was more than a love story, it was a story about breaking free from fear and embracing truth, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. The announcement did not come without turbulence. Predictably, online forums erupted with polarized opinions. Detractors fixated on the age difference, framing it as problematic, while others criticized the timing, suggesting that Rowoon risked his career trajectory by committing publicly. But the louder voices were those of celebration. Fan videos, art, and hashtags proliferated at lightning speed. National outlets picked up the story, reframing it as a bold declaration of love against the odds. For every critical voice, there were countless others who found inspiration in the couple's defiance of expectations. What made the announcement particularly moving was not just what was said, but how it was said. Neither Rowoon nor Eun-bin dramatized their relationship. There was no spectacle, no attempt to manipulate public opinion with overblown displays. Instead, their words radiated authenticity. In doing so, they reclaimed their narrative from speculation and gave fans something more powerful than gossip, a love story rooted in respect, equality, and genuine emotion. In the days that followed, Rowoon and Eun-bin were photographed together, no longer hiding behind the shadows of rumor. Their first public appearance as a married couple was understated yet unforgettable. Holding hands, they smiled shyly but confidently, embodying the message they had conveyed with words, that love, when true, asks for no apology. Atmosphere was electric, not because of celebrity glamour, because of the palpable authenticity that surrounded them. For the industry, this was a watershed moment. In a landscape often dominated by tightly controlled narratives, their openness challenged conventions. For fans, it was a gift, the validation of years spent defending their chemistry, the joy of seeing their favorite stars embrace happiness on their own terms. For society at large, it sparked a conversation about the evolving understanding of relationships, age differences, and the role of privacy in the lives of public figures. This unfolding narrative draws to a close. It is clear that the story of Rowoon and Park Eun-bin has transcended gossip. It has become a conversation about courage, authenticity, and the refusal to let numbers dictate the course of love. The world has seen so far is only the beginning. In the headlines lies a more intimate tale, their life together away from the spotlight, the struggles they faced, the celebrations they shared, and the future they are building. Part 2 delves deeper into that world, pulling back the curtain to reveal not just how they survived the storm, but how they thrived in its aftermath. The truth was finally out, and the world seemed to shift ever so slightly. Rowoon and Park Eun-bin were no longer a matter of rumor or speculation, they were a couple. And more than that, they were married. For many, the revelation carried the weight of a cinematic climax. But for the two people at its center, it was only the beginning of another chapter. Part 2 of this story unveils not just the spectacle of public reaction, but also the quieter, deeper realities of their love, how they navigated life behind the scenes, the responses of fans and the industry, the greater cultural significance of defying the expectations that had once threatened to divide them. In the wake of the announcement, Rowoon and Eun-bin found themselves at the eye of a storm. Paparazzi cameras followed their every move. Tabloids spun stories from the smallest gestures, and social media trended with every photograph that surfaced. Yet amid the chaos, there was a notable shift. Instead of cowering in secrecy, the couple chose to face the spotlight with composure. Their decision to appear publicly hand in hand was deliberate, an unspoken declaration that they had nothing to hide. Nothing to apologize for. It was as if they had turned speculation into spectacle. Not by exaggeration but by quiet honesty. For Rowoon, the act of breaking silence was both liberating and daunting. In interviews that followed, he explained how long he had carried the burden of secrecy. There were times I wanted to speak earlier, he admitted. But we both knew timing mattered. Didn't want to risk her comfort, or mine, by making a hasty statement. When I finally said the words, felt like I could breathe again. His candor struck a chord with fans who had long sensed the strain of living under relentless scrutiny. Yoon Bin, too, spoke with calm conviction. I've lived almost my entire life on screen, she reflected. But some things deserve to be lived quietly. The right moment comes. We chose each other not because of what the world wanted to see, but because of what we felt was right for us. Her words revealed the depth of her maturity. A perspective honed over decades of balancing public iteration with personal sacrifice. But even as they found peace in their openness, the couple faced waves of commentary. Online communities erupted in debate about the age gap, with threads dissecting cultural expectations, generational differences, the symbolism of their union. Critics questioned whether Rowoon, in the prime of his career, had compromised his trajectory by embracing marriage so openly. Supporters countered with passion, arguing that his transparency only deepened respect for him as both an artist and a man. International fans, more liberal in their views of age and relationships, painted the couple as a symbol of modern love. A clash of perspectives revealed more about society's evolving values than about the couple themselves. What became increasingly clear was that Rowoon and Yoon Bin were not defined by the noise around them. Instead, they built their own rhythm away from the spotlight. Close to the couple revealed glimpses of a quieter life, cooking together in the evenings, taking long walks without entourage, sharing laughter over the smallest details. The relationship thrived not because it was extraordinary in scale, but because it was ordinary in the most beautiful sense. For fans, these glimpses were more precious than any red carpet photograph, for they revealed the humanity behind the glamour. The entertainment industry, too, could not ignore the ripple effect. Producers and advertisers, initially cautious, soon recognized the power of the narrative. Far from damaging their marketability, the marriage enhanced it. Rowoon and Yoon Bin became a symbol of authenticity in an industry often accused of manufacturing perfection. Endorsements flowed, in spite of their openness but because of it. Brands sought to align with the couple's sincerity, leveraging their story as a testament to courage and love. At the same time, their marriage sparked deeper cultural conversations. In South Korea, where traditional norms still wield influence, their relationship challenged long-held taboos. The age gap, once treated as scandalous, was reframed as a symbol of progress. Commentators noted how their union represented the changing face of Korean society, one more willing to embrace diversity in love. Their fans saw in them a message of empowerment, that love does not conform to rigid expectations. Personal happiness matters more than public approval. In this way, Rowoon and Yoon Bin became not just celebrities but cultural figures, pushing boundaries in ways neither had intended but both now embodied. One of the most poignant aspects of Rowoon's revelations was the personal reasoning behind his decision. I didn't want to hide anymore, confessed in one interview. I realized that if I kept living for the public, I'd lose the person I cared about most. So I chose to live for us, instead of for appearances. The honesty of his words resonated widely, particularly with those who understood the pressures of navigating identity in the glare of fame. Yoon Bin's journey alongside Rowoon was equally inspiring. Grown up in the industry, she had endured the challenges of constant exposure and judgment. For her, marriage represented not only love but also freedom, the freedom to claim her own narrative. For years I've been called a leading lady, with a smile. But Rowoon reminds me that I'm also just me, someone who can be loved without conditions. The vulnerability of her statement made headlines, reminding audiences that behind the carefully constructed images of stardom lay individuals seeking the same tenderness as anyone else. As weeks turned into months, their life together took on a rhythm that balanced the extraordinary with the everyday. They attended industry events side by side, creating the quiet confidence of a couple no longer hiding. They retreated into private spaces, cherishing the ordinariness of shared meals and inside jokes. They continued their professional journeys with renewed vigor, Rowoon accepting challenging acting roles, Rowoon been pursuing projects that showcased her versatility. Together, they built a future rooted not in spectacle but in substance. Fan base, once divided, began to coalesce around this vision. Support projects blossomed. Fan-made videos celebrating their love to charity drives in their names. Hashtags like Love Knows Nugget and Bin Rowoon forever trended across platforms, turning what was once a controversy into a rallying cry. The transformation was remarkable. What began as a source of gossip had become a movement of celebration. International media framed their story as emblematic of a broader trend in entertainment, stars reclaiming their narratives from speculation. In a globalized industry where celebrity romances are consumed with voracious appetite, Rowoon and Eunbin's approach, measured, sincere, and unapologetic, offered a blueprint for others navigating similar paths. Their story transcended borders, resonating with audiences who saw in them the courage to embrace love against all odds. As time passed, attention shifted from the shock of revelation to the beauty of continuity. Their marriage was no longer just a headline, it was a lived reality. Fans saw in them a symbol of resilience that grows stronger when tested. They were no longer simply Rowoon the idol-turned-actor and Park Eun-bin the accomplished actress. They were partners, confidants, and fellow travelers in a journey defined not by age or expectation, but by shared dreams. The legacy of their story is not just about romance. It's about authenticity in an age of performance. A refusal to let numbers or norms dictate happiness. Choosing each other, Rowoon and Eunbin chose to redefine what it means to live honestly in the glare of fame. They showed that even in a world hungry for scandal, love can remain pure, steadfast, and transformative. As the world looks ahead to their future, one thing is certain, their story will continue to inspire. Whether through new projects, public appearances, or the simple act of living authentically, Rowoon and Eunbin have already written a narrative that will endure. For fans, the takeaway is clear: love is not measured in years but in moments. Not in numbers but in the courage to stand together. And so the chapter concludes. Not with an ending but with a beginning. Rowoon broke his silence. Eunbin embraced the truth. And together they transformed speculation into celebration. Their love story, once hidden in whispers, now stands as a beacon of hope in an industry often clouded by illusion. It is proof that when love is real, age is no problem. Silence is no longer necessary. The journey of Rowoon and Park Eun-bin is more than a headline. It is a reminder that love has the power to silence doubts, to bridge differences, and to redefine what truly matters. By breaking his silence, Rowoon chose honesty over fear, authenticity over speculation, and love over judgment. Together, prove that an age gap is nothing compared to the strength of shared values, mutual respect, and unwavering support. Our story continues to inspire millions, not just because they are stars, but because they dared to be real in a world that often demands perfection. Their union marks a cultural shift, a narrative of courage and sincerity in the ever-watchful world of entertainment. And as their careers flourish and their love deepens, those around the world carry with them a powerful truth: when love is genuine, it needs no defense, no explanation, only the courage to embrace it fully. This article is dedicated to the countless fans and readers who have followed the journey of Rowoon and Park Eun-bin with unwavering passion and curiosity. Thank you for celebrating not just their artistry but their humanity, for seeing beyond the headlines, and for embracing the message that love transcends numbers, norms, and expectations. Gratitude is also extended to the global community of Hallyu supporters whose voices turn simple stories into powerful movements of hope and inspiration. To every reader who has shared in this narrative, your enthusiasm keeps these stories alive, and your belief in love's resilience ensures that its echo is heard far beyond the spotlight.